We are often told that ADHD is a schoolboy condition, fidgeting in class, causing destruction. But for many women in the UK, it's a different reality. Many have been told they're just anxious or overwhelmed, when in reality they've gone through a lifetime of masking and trying to understand why their brain does not work the same as others. In a study done by the NHS in November 2025, they subjected a group of adults to an adult ADHD self-report scale, otherwise known as the ASRS. During this study, they found that 1 in 7 adults screened positive for ADHD. That is around 13.9%. When it came to separating by gender, it was found that 12.4% of men screened positive compared to the 14.9% in women. But to get a closer look at this, I went to meet with 2 women who have been personally affected by this system, from long waiting lists at the NHS to being unfairly treated compared to boys in her class who had ADHD. But let's go take a closer look. Here at Eaton Park Cafe, I met with 20-year-old university student Kate to hear about her experience when getting diagnosed with it at an early age.
Oh, well, get you put on a waiting list, but it is probably going to be a long wait. But just because I have my A-levels coming up, and I was if I can get a support, I would like to be able to do that. And I remember I went through the kind of support they had at my school as well, but it wasn't very good. The kind of lady in charge of it very much was I just think you're forgetful. I think she also thought I was trying to get attention.
But what happens if you're not believed? I took a walk with 21-year-old Faith, who just this year got diagnosed after years of fighting the system.
So it probably started when I was around 13, and I went to the doctors complaining of overwhelm, not fitting in, depression, feeling like the world wasn't made for me. And they said that it was because of my period and my hormones. And they first of all prescribed me birth controls at 13, which was not helpful. So I was going back to doctors constantly complaining of low mood. And then when I was 16, they prescribed me antidepressants. When I was 17, it was sertraline, and they just kept upping that. And it's only this year, now that I've finally been diagnosed, I've been able to come off them because they weren't helping me. I'd tell them that, and they just never even suggested ADHD as a possibility. But when it came through, it was very severe ADHD. I had all of the questions, it was at least 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. And she was just basically I don't know how it's been this long without being diagnosed. And then when I took that to my doctors at home, they still won't prescribe me any kind of ADHD medication because...
To this day?
To this day.
Oh, yeah.
They said it's not severe enough. The boys in my class with ADHD were given fidget toys or were given little notepads to draw in, whereas that was never even suggested for me. It was never even suggested she might have ADHD.
To see how schools deal with diagnosing ADHD, I went to speak to pastoral leader Maggie Dennis to learn more about this.
I think anyone is probably going to give this answer as to why the girls fly under the radar, and that is because historically boys who do have ADHD present with the classic symptoms, which is the running around, they can't sit still, fidgety, all over the place, blurting things out, interrupting and stuff. That impulsivity is what people go, oh, that's ADHD. So it's kind of, that tends to be recognised. Whereas with girls, you get perhaps more of the sort of daydreaming, as opposed to the sort of jumpy running around type behaviour, anxiety.
Clinically, ADHD affects boys and girls equally the same. Yet in the UK, diagnosis rates reveal that there's a significant institutional blind spot. According to Learn DNA UK, 3.6% of boys are diagnosed with ADHD in school, whereas in girls, diagnosis is less than 1%. But this isn't because ADHD is less common in girls, but in fact it's because, as multiple studies show, girls are more likely to mask their symptoms compared to boys.
Sensitivity, girls, which then gets misconstrued as, oh, girls and hormones, girls, more likely to cry, Actually, yes, there's a hormonal element, of course, can't overlook it. But I think that's actually a fundamental point. certain attributes that perhaps really are ADHD characteristics are misdiagnosed as, oh, hormonal issues that, you know, girls starting to get to that age, puberty, and actually we're missing certain things.
Due to girls with ADHD often masking their symptoms, how can we spot a girl with ADHD?
For girls who, you know, are the ones who are staying quiet because they don't want to sort of say anything. Also girls who might want to copy others. So when you see a child who is quite blatantly copying what's next to them, you know, there's a reason for them doing that. Yeah, okay, maybe they didn't listen, maybe they couldn't listen, maybe they couldn't focus. And they're terrified of admitting that. So they're just going to get on and copy and therefore, again, fly under the radar so they don't get noticed. So looking out for that. And those that almost burn themselves out in trying extra hard because they're trying so hard to not let anyone see that something quite hard for them. So that, yeah, I would actually look out for the quiet ones, the ones that look like they're copying, or, you know, you see their work, you think this is exactly the same as the person next to them, what's gone on here. But equally the ones that are almost too much, because you're like, oh, are you actually trying to cover something?
For women who identify themselves with these traits, there might still be a battle for diagnosis, but ADHD does not discriminate. Valentina Franco, UEA Journalism News.